right now. Let's take a live look out at the Washington Monument, where it's daytime right now, but at night they've been lighting it up red, white, and blue for folks there to take a look and celebrate the 4th of July. But let's talk about that dangerous heat wave, which is hitting at the peak of this big Independence Day travel rush. AAA forecasting a record 72.2 million travelers over this stretch. United Airlines actually brought in extra staff and set up cooling stations there at airport outside of Washington, D.C. The extreme heat can also take its toll on equipment at oil refineries, slowing the production of gasoline and jet fuel when demand is high. Now, if you are planning to drive this holiday weekend, the national average price for gas, that's about $3.82 if you have to do any cross-country driving. But here in Arkansas, that average setting at around $3.40. Well, today, downtown Fayetteville, will be celebrating America's 250th with Fayetteville Sound Bites. Plus, organizers are teaming up with Bite NWA to offer tasting from local restaurants and breweries at the Upper Ramble. There will also be some road closures that you'll need to know about along West Avenue. Now, this started on Thursday and will last until noon tomorrow. And also today, downtown Bentonville hosting an America's 250th birthday celebration for First Friday. It will feature more than 100 vendors along with food trucks, music, and contests. You can check that out from 3 to 9 there on the square. And then tomorrow, Fort Smith will host its Mayor's 4th of July celebration in downtown. The free event will kick off at 5 o'clock there on Riverfront Drive with some live music, vendors, food trucks, and then the big fireworks show. Now, to see a list of other festivities around our area, we've got you covered. All you need to do is just text the word 4th to 479-785-5000. We'll send you back that list. Well, at our nation's capital, America and President Trump are gearing up for celebrations. A speech on the National Mall is going to be part of the White House's planned festivities, which has been classified as a national special security event. Calls with more fencing, blocking vehicles. That's according to D.C. officials. It's all just a matter of precaution, federal officials say. They're not tracking any specific threat.
It should be safe and it should be secure for every single citizen that lives here and every single citizen that comes to visit.
Well, 5,000 National Guard troops are set to be on the ground, along with thousands of law enforcement agents and officers. Now, with many families heading to lakes and rivers for the 4th of July weekend, we're keeping an eye on any harmful algae blooms. There was some found last week in a stream that feeds into Lake Alma. 5 News reporter Claire Averbach joining us now with what you need to know. Hey, Claire.
Hey, Joe. Good morning. Well, it certainly is a beautiful Friday as we head into this 4th of July weekend. We've got a beautiful sunrise here near Lake Alma. This has been the only harmful algae advisory that's issued in the state of Arkansas. It's called cyanobacteria that has been found near this lake. It's typically a bright green to a bluish green, and it's typically seen floating on top of the water. Now, even though this has been the only harmful algae advisory issued, it is still important to know what to look for if you're heading into the lake or the river this 4th of July weekend. Alma Public Works says solar-powered equipment is installed in the reservoir connected to Lake Alma to help prevent algae growth. The system is designed to reduce contaminants before they reach the lake. Still, state officials are urging people to stay out of the water at Waterfall Trail east of Lake Alma until the advisory is lifted. Harmful algae can produce toxins that could cause headaches, fatigue, shortness of breath, and muscle spasms. So as people spend time outdoors this holiday weekend, the Arkansas Department of Energy and Environment says it's important to know what to look for before getting into the water.
Whenever it is bright green or blue green, that's usually indicative that it's harmful. Rinse off with clean water immediately, and of course, if they need to consult a physician or a veterinarian, then they can do that.
Now, again, this is the only harmful algae advisory that has been issued in Arkansas, but still, if you're heading to Beaver Lake or any lake this weekend that's in Arkansas, even a river, it is still important to be cautious. If you do see algae that could potentially be harmful, you can contact ADEQ. You can find that information on our website, 5newsonline.com. Joe, back to you.
All right, thanks for that, Claire. Now, we're hearing from one parent after changes to Arkansas's Educational Freedom Account program. Some say they still have questions. Maya Ellison takes a closer look at what the changes could mean for families and how some lawmakers are responding.
If they are one of the more elite sports teams that not every student who tries out makes it, then that is prohibited from using EFA funds.
Last month, the State Board of Education approved new rules for Arkansas's Educational Freedom Account program. State leaders say the changes are designed to provide clear guidance and greater accountability over how taxpayer dollars are spent.
We also need to make sure that we have very clear guidances on what those purchases are that would qualify for an educational experience for your child.
The updated rules now require pre-approval for many purchases that aren't considered core expenses. Other changes include lowering the amount of unused EFA money that can roll over each year.
At one point, you could buy a bookshelf for your, for books in your home, and now you can't, because now that's considered furniture and not, conducive to learning.
Melissa Ferguson, a mother of 3, homeschools her children in Northwest Arkansas. She says the program has been great as it provides more flexibility to meet her children's individual needs. But as the rules continue to evolve, she says she's hoping for more clarity.
And I feel like there's a lot of disinformation out there, misinformation out there, of people that think that parents are just able to buy whatever they want with the program, and that's not the case.
Senator Missy Irvin says those questions are expected anytime a program changes and believes the new process will ultimately provide more consistent guidance for families.
With any kind of a systems change, you're going to face some questions, and hopefully it works well.
What questions would you pose?
It is concerning on why they want to put in so many restrictions or guidelines. I feel like homeschool students should have the same opportunities that public school students have. I mean, if public school students are allowed to play in sports, even competition sports, or they're allowed to have clubs and after-school activities, then homeschool students should be allowed to do the same thing.
Well, in other news, a new fiscal year has started for Arkansas, and it's with one of the largest budget surpluses in state history. The Department of Finance says it's mainly because of a 7% increase in income tax revenue and a 4% increase in sales tax revenue. $665 million will now go into the state's reserve funds.
It'd just be the peace of mind of knowing that, that those key state services that are funded with general revenue, we've got $3 billion in reserve just strictly to ensure that those continue. So the peace of mind from that would be one thing.
Well, by the way, the surplus is the 5th largest in state history. The Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics says it has seized 1,800 pounds of illegal marijuana from a farm in LaFleur County. They say it happened Wednesday at the Atlantis farm located in Shady Point. It was part of an ongoing criminal investigation into illegal growing and operating without a registration. No arrests have been made, but the OBN says they anticipate some to be made as the investigation moves forward.